Welcome back to Go For Side Effects. I'm your host, Kevin Simon. I like to talk to each and every one of y'all about a little bit about what we went through last week, and I want to touch a little bit more base on it. When me and Rusty had a conversation, he was talking about he was going to go hire an attorney. An attorney was going to take money. Well, that's what we're going to get into a little bit about today. You know, about stuff out there that is for veterans before you have to go see an attorney. So let's talk about first, the ratings of disability. So first you have 10%, 20, all the way up to 100. But the VA does a little bit differently. To me, it's a little sneaky, but it's their way. It's their calculations. It is, if you want to reach to 100%, it could be up to 300% before you can even see 100%. It could be 150%, be 80%, just for calculations. Let me kind of touch base a little bit more on this. So 10 to 20 gets your foot into the door of the VA. And usually that's a service connection that you just pretty much got out with. There are some cases to where people are 100% and it will never change right off the bat when they get out. They could have, fell off the wing of a engine, broken neck. I mean, it could be anything. Let's kind of get into this on as time goes on. So when you go to file a claim, you're denied automatically pretty much right off the bat. Then you appeal it and you file it again. A lot of what happens is veterans go out there and veterans say, hey, you know what? I'm going to do this myself. So I'm going to go out there. I'm going to say, hey, you know what? I'm going to bring up my paperwork. I'll get online. I'll fill it all out. I'll send it into the VA. To me, that's the hardest way. Because you're almost guaranteed the VA is going to deny it right off the bat because you filled one wrong part of the paperwork out, or you put it backwards, or you did this. That's why I say get a VSO officer, a veterans officer. State of Texas, Colorado, all them places have it. Go out there, talk to a DAV, go to VFW, American Legion. They got people inside there that help the veterans out. Great programs to get involved with also because they can let you know all your benefits. When you reach about 30% in the state of Texas, I think Colorado is the same way. I think a lot of states are the same way. You can put them down on your taxes as far as like property tax, state tax, stuff like that. Each year you get a little bit taken off the more rating that you get. When you reach 50% disabled through the VA, that's where a lot more changes because your hunt and fishing license, motor vehicle are only $12. You get disabled veteran plates, 60% federal state parks, all free. 80, 90, 100. When you reach 100, that's when you're pretty much like your state taxes and property taxes, not saying your school taxes, because we still got to give to the schools, but a lot of that is reduced significantly. I mean, it's a big savings, especially on property, but to get there, it doesn't take filing one claim over the presumptives. The presumptives, it takes a while as one thing leads to another thing leads to another, you got your secondary, your thirds, everything. Keep filing, go through your VSO. Your VSO officer is going to tell you yes or no, you should file or not. If they're a good VSO, they're going to tell you this is a bogus claim or this is the right claim. That's just the truth. When you need an attorney, that's probably going to be the key question right there is, when do I need to get an attorney involved before it goes to a judge? And it will go to a judge, Washington, D.C., or it will go to, like I think Houston has a panel or a judge there that it goes to the VA, and they make a decision, and then it goes up to the higher courts. That's when you're going to need to pull an attorney in. And speaking of that, in about 3 weeks, I'm going to have one on here named Dennis Sullivan. Y'all can always send me an email, and I'll give it to you at the end of the program. If you have questions for the attorney, please send it in. I'll ask them. I have no problem. I may even go Facebook Live with this one with the attorney while we're doing this, so that way if people have questions, I would love for y'all to be able to, get an answer for each and every one of y'all out there. Just let y'all know that before you go and think you need an attorney, first, talk to the VFW, American Legion, your VSO officer, DAV, because that's what they're there for. And they'll tell you it's time for you to get an attorney or it's not time for you to get an attorney. You know, they won't say, oh, yeah, run out and get an attorney. They'll just say, you do what's best for you, but first I would do this. Listen to what they have to say. And it can take months. It could take years for a claim to get settled. I know one of my claims, it took all because I didn't file one wording, and me and my VSO officer could not understand why this one wording had to be in there, even though I was already connected with the other. It took almost 10 years for them to say, oh, yeah, now I approve it. One word. So make sure you know your wording's right. Make sure you file for each and everything that you have as your primary to your secondary to your other secondary to your other third, so on and so on. Okay. I also want to get into a little bit of programs tonight that veterans can get involved with as far as, through their disabilities and through, all kinds of programs that states have. The first one, buying a house. Use your VA loan. You get your lowest interest rate. If you have a disability, if it's up to a certain kind, you may not owe any closing costs. You may not even have to put a down payment. So, look into that before you just run out, buy a house and get a FHA or conventional. Yes, the VA is a little bit more trickier in getting a loan. Most veterans who had home loan like I did, they're very thorough in their inspections because they want to make sure the veteran is not going to get messed over. And so I like that. I think that's a fantastic program. Now, let's get into other programs that veterans can get into, like Lowe's, Home Depot, places out there that you eat, they offer military discounts, veteran discounts. Take advantage of it. If you build a storage building, it costs $3,000, you get 10% off Home Depot and Lowe's. I think that's a great program. I think that's awfully nice of them. And then there's all sorts of other programs like that out there. Texas, I know Colorado, I know a few other places have this. It's called the Hazelwood Act. The Hazelwood Act is a great program for, and you don't have to be disabled for this or the Home Depot or Lowe's, but this right here is if you served and you're from Texas, let me tell you, 150 hours that you can use after your GI Bill's used up, or your kids can go on it, or your spouse before the age 26. You have to, be active duty, honorable discharge, DD-214. You fill out some paperwork. It's simple. It's easy. And if you become disabled 100%, then they will also help your children as far as, housing, food, electricity, water, etc. Check into all that. I think it's something the state of Texas does. I know Colorado does it because I helped a friend look that up, and I just think it's a fantastic program. And I thank Texas for doing that because it's saving me a lot of money right now. Let's talk about job fairs. I know down in Houston, George R. Brown, they have, job fairs for veterans. They come out and you do a resume. They help you with your resume. Employers that want to hire veterans first before anybody else. I think that's a great program. But let me tell you, the leading veteran hire is the VA. If you have honorable discharge, that is a fantastic deal to me. I mean, you can go in and you can become a VSO officer. You can do clinical staff with help, and then they'll send you education if you want. I mean, there's so much the VA has to offer that most of us vets don't take advantage of that we should when we first get out. I wish I would have known all about this, but I think they have more programs now than what they did back then. So say you're a veteran and you're just on hard times. You're not getting anywhere and you have no family support or anything like that. That's what the VA's for. It's what VFW's for, American Legion. They help with healthcare. They have living services and, the healthcare services, of course. transportation. They got legal services, childcare services, housing counseling services. They got so much out there for each and every veteran. It's just what your needs are. To me, no, none of this was ever told to me. I had to look it up, experience it myself, and I want to pass the information that at least I know of. If I don't have the answer, I'll tell you what, I'll find the answer. Don't have all the answers, but I know people who do have all the answers. But look at your state programs to help veterans, especially disabled veterans. There's one that I was reading just the other day that they take fishing, hunting, camping, motorcycle rides. I mean, it's just, they do dude ranches. It's just so much out there that I wish every veteran would be a part of. The guys like with PTSD and stuff like that come home, it's easy for them to tell somebody who hasn't been in the service about it. But when you're around people that are experiencing the same thing that you're experiencing and have gone through the similar situations, it's so much more easier. And I think that's why they bring them together and they help one another out. I think they're great programs. These are just minute stuff that I'm hitting with tonight because I'm trying to help out people who were like Rusty that didn't know about the VSO or didn't know about any of the other stuff, that I'm going to be working with him and show him that, hey, before you run out and just grab you an attorney, let's go about it a different way out there. I know there's several programs online that I think all veterans should be on. If you're a Desert Storm veteran, go to all the Gulf War pages, the illnesses, the related. There's just the Gulf War page, the Desert Storm page. Get on there, see what the veterans in your area are doing, and you may end up finding a lot of buddies you didn't know that were on these, and you may reconnect with them. And I think that would be a fantastic thing to reconnect. I'm connected to every single one of the people I served with. And I mean, we talk almost weekly to monthly, and I love it. For like the Vietnam veteran guys, hey, go check out, the Blue Waters. Go check out all that stuff out there that's available for y'all with the Agent Orange stuff and what other vets are saying and how they were able to get approved for their disabilities of what they're going through as far as the cancers. As I explained, there was a Iraqi Freedom guy. Me and Rusty talked about this. There was a Iraqi Freedom guy that he came in. I've been cutting this young man's hair. I'm not going to tell my age, but for, 30 some, 20, 30, years. And anyway, he came in and he was telling me that he ended up with cancer. And great kid. But he had no idea his were all presumptive. He had no idea that what he was exposed to during Iraqi freedom, because he was out there in the late 90s to, 2000s. He didn't have a clue. 4 years later, comes home, has a cancer. And I'm like, have you ever looked up the presumptives? He's just like, no, I didn't, what's a presumptive? And so I explained everything to him. And then we looked it right up on the phone, sat there, I showed him, and instantly he was like, oh my gosh, it's one of the illnesses caused by out there. So now he's going through the proper channels to get his paperwork taken care of and get it filed. I just want each and every one of y'all to know I'm here for you. If y'all have any questions, you can email me at kevinsimon@gulfwarsideeffects.com. We got a Facebook page. Go by and visit. Drop me a message. Hey, I'm willing to help you. I'm hoping to go Facebook Live in the near future again, and I'm going to try to do that a little bit more often, get some questions answered. But I really appreciate every one of my listeners tuning in, and that's one of the reasons why I want to do this evening, is kind of help the ones out there that don't know what to do. But hey, get a hold of me. I'll help you. Y'all have a great night. Thank you.